Capricorn. This is going to be your December 2019 monthly reading. And I'm going to get a couple of these tarot cards here. Actually, I'm going to get 4 of them specifically. Get just an idea of the energy that you might be going through. Then we're going to get a couple oracle cards, and then I'm going to clarify these tarot cards. So let's see what we got going on. I want to thank all of you who've been patiently waiting for readings. Mercury retrograde absolutely knocked me out and put me out, and I was unable to do much. I'm going to take these back. It thwarted all of my efforts. So as much as I wanted to post readings at the end of the month last month, I was just unable to and had to honor my own time. So I absolutely did that. I want to thank all of you who were waiting and understood also maybe going through their own Mercury retrograde issues, what was happening with all of us. My goodness. Glad it's over. Not gonna lie. It was rough for me. So let's see what we got. We had the World pop out right away. You have Strength, you have Emperor, and you have Priestess. Oh my gosh, Capricorn. You have 4 major arcana cards. So first blush, this is huge transformation in your life. Not only because of the World, like that usually is the card that will state huge transformation, but major arcanas in themselves are huge transformations in our lives. So you have something huge coming up in December. Maybe you've already been feeling it, Capricorn, but regardless, you have come to a huge cycle culmination. You know, this is the very last card of the major arcana before it starts back over at 0, with the Fool taking a leap of faith into a whole new cycle, a whole new plunge into a new life. So you are reaching the end of something. You've learned a lot up to this point. The experiences, the tools, the wisdom, everything that you've gained up to this point will now be utilized in an entirely new cycle in your life. So wow, a lot of you Capricorns are going to be feeling this incredibly heavy throughout December because really you have major arcanas entirely. And to have that happen means something big, something real big is happening for you guys. Now you also have the Strength card coming up here. Now the Strength card is actually the Empress with a mighty lion typically. This one obviously is a tiger, I believe. However, she's not manipulating the tiger to work for her. She's not deceiving the tiger. She's not hurting it with physical restraints or anything like that. And all she's doing is loving and knowing with her utmost strength. So that's going to be emotional strength. That's going to be mental strength. That's going to be strength in knowing what she wants to do and accomplish, and strength in the way that she is building her foundational, legacy. So having strength in all areas of life, it's just a real big part of that spiritual trust and spiritual strength with the 8 coming up there. So as we do move through a cycle and a huge shift like this, you may be feeling entirely different as you enter 2020. And having that strength and recognizing that you don't have to have brute force and you don't have to manipulate or you don't have to do this and that to get what you need is going to be a big part of your December. Now you also have the Emperor coming up here. And when we get the Emperor, we're always reminded that he is always in his armor. He's always ready to fight. He's always very on the defensive and offensive at all times, equally ready to, plunge into war or be there where he's needed. So the Emperor is a big part of realization. The Emperor realizes his own power, realizes where he's needed, and realizes that if he were to trip or make a mistake, that his entire empire could potentially fall. Okay, because he is top dog of all of these things. So when we get the Emperor, it's like utter and incredible realization of self. Realizing our own power, realizing that the decisions we make ultimately affect everything we do. It is a huge remembrance of self-reflection. What is it that you realize, Capricorn, as something's changed inside you, you've wrapped up a cycle and you're dealing with, you know, your own power and how you utilize it in your world. It's also to recognize how your strength, how you use that. How are you using your strength as the emperor and the master of your own life? You know, are you always on the defense? Are you always on the offense? Are you always thrusting your power onto people or experiences or situations to get what you need? You know, it's a self-realization of where your power can be utilized, humbled, and, you know, grows into that next cycle. What do you know about yourself? What's that self-realization? These are heavy energies for you, Capricorn. I'm not going to lie. So you also have the priestess coming up, and the priestess is always there to remind us that there is some sort of a divine mechanism that we are all connected to, we're all a part of, and sometimes no matter how we want things to go or expect things to go, there is a divine process. Things have to go a certain way due to what has been laid out before us. You know, those karmic contracts that were signed or agreed upon way before we were even born. It's just a part of our energy flow. Our essence has a purpose. And with the priestess here saying to you, darkness into darkness, the key to all mystery, you have to realize you may not see what's unfolding for you. You may not see what's coming for you, or the way, or the hope. There may be no hope that you're feeling, Capricorn. However, this is here to remind you that you already are being guided. There's divine timing, and the moon is here to signify the intuition of guidance. You know, you're being guided constantly throughout this path. You were guided up to this closure and throughout this cycle. You're being guided with your strength and the self-control, the realization. So recognizing that at all times you are being guided. And yes, some of our experiences are painful, horrific, terrible, things that you could never wish on anybody. Some of them are part of the divine process so that we have tools and wisdom to move forward into new cycles, to change cultural norms, to change habits, to change the ripple effect of every decision we make. So that's incredible how the divine process always likes to enter, you know, into our reading. Now I'm going to get you an oracle card for advice, and we're going to get just a little bit of advice about what might be going on for you for December regarding this huge closing up of a cycle and some really other big energies that come with it. I mean, it's great to get a couple major arcanas because you'll always know it's a big change. But when you get the whole spread as a major arcana, that's pretty profound. And sometimes even it's hard to, you know, figure out what's going on because it's so many big changes. Each one of these cards comes with such a heavy lesson, heavy change, heavy wisdom associated with it. So we're going to get an advice card and see what we can learn a little bit more about your December for Capricorn. And I swear, if this one's a major arcana, you know, I will expect some of you Capricorns to show up in my website for a personal reading because, wow, this is big stuff. Speaking of that, I will be cutting my readings down. I'm not going to be doing 36 free readings anymore, moving into 2020, as I have begun to get more paying clientele, and I really had to make a decision of where I was going to prioritize my time. And obviously I am running a business, so, you know, offering the free readings is what I want to do, but I also need to make money. So I'm sure all of you can understand that, and I shouldn't have to explain that, right? But I honor all of you and your time, and thank you honoring mine. Now this is great. You're getting a believe and succeed here. So you can tell that with the Emperor and the Priestess coming up that you may have some sort of doubt, right? There's this doubt of like, what? I don't feel this change yet, and what is all this major change? I'm not feeling it. It's not there for me. I don't have that option. I can't, right? And I always say to anybody who says I can't, I always tell them, well, then you're right. Because if you don't believe you can, I don't believe you can either. Just saying. It's not harsh. It's real. So really, in order for you to succeed, you need to believe. You need to believe in yourself, Capricorn. You need to believe in the divine process and the fact that you're being guided. You need to believe in the fact that you have self-realization and self-power to tap into, and that control over your own strength. Okay, huge cycle coming up here, but you have to believe in order to succeed. Now, with this 6 coming up of swords, this is definitely saying you can move on to calmer waters. You can definitely move away from some of the things that you've gone through. Maybe some of the things that were closing up this cycle were felt heavily. You get to move away from that now. All of the, past parts of this cycle are going to be a part of your past now, because you're going to move away from that. But the only way to succeed is if you believe. You really have to believe in yourself, because it really doesn't matter if anybody else believes in you, and really nobody's going to believe in you if you don't. So definitely a key for you to recognize that you have to believe. That's this priestess. That's that trust, unwavering faith that you're being guided. Now I'm also going to give you a little tidbit here for the full moon that'll be coming up on December 12th. Since I will no longer be doing full moon readings and just doing monthly readings, I thought it'd be kind of cool to give you guys like a 2-week heads up and get some advice around what's going to be happening for you on that full moon. And it's about halfway through the month, so December 12th, like I said, this will give you just like a halfway point that you can come back and check on this video, halfway through the month, and maybe be reminded of some of these things. But we'll just get one card to see what's up for your full moon, get the advice for that day. Because the full moon can always be so heavy for all of us. We get heightened emotions, and some things wrap up. A lot of times we don't realize that the wrap up is there because it's exactly what we asked for. So that's heavy and deep. Much bigger conversation for a later day. Alright. Capricorn, what did I say? Surrender to divine. So yes, around this full moon time, and you even got full moon, surrender to divine. So this card is meant for your December 12th full moon. Definitely. Definitely recognize that whatever it is that you're going through right now and throughout December is something that is divine process. It's meant to be, essentially, if that's how you want to hear it, Whatever you call it, that's what it is. It's meant to be, it's happening, and the quicker you surrender, the easier it is to get through it. When you're sitting there fighting something that's meant to be, it's going to happen anyway. Haven't you guys seen Final Destination? That's that. Like, regardless, it will come. The quicker you let it, the better. And you'll get good things coming from this. This is a new cycle. Letting go of any resistance to your path can truly serve you. So let's get some clarifiers for these 4 on the table and see if we can get a little bit of detail to these major arcana. Because wow, Capricorn, it's intense when that happens. Okay, you have the King of Rods coming out here. 5 of Swords. That's why you're needing strength, huh? I see now. You have the High Priestess coming up again, so that's validation of that card. And the Hierophant. Okay. Now, if you remember when I was first shuffling those cards, the Hierophant actually flopped out as one of these cards when I was first shuffling. I picked it up and put it back in the deck because it had pulled out too many, but this was one of the cards that flipped over. So meant to be, alright? It's another one of those validations for you. Now, the World coming out here with the King of Rods means that yes, you have come through a huge cycle. It's happening for you, but you also need to potentially grab this character of knowing you have to make action now. You have to create some sort of action around what you're passionate about. You've come through a full cycle. Now what are you going to do with this passion that's here for you? Are you going to utilize it? Are you going to master it? Are you going to be able to maintain your kingdom with some sort of a new vision, a new passion for yourself? And the World coming up here suggests that you can definitely master this, but you're going to have to get into that mindset of mastering. You know, just like this Emperor here, having that masterful intention is going to be what really guides you through this next cycle for you. And really, in order to succeed, you're going to have to believe in yourself, believe in that fiery passion that drives you through each one of your endeavors. Now you also have the Strength card coming up here with the Five of Swords. Now it seems more clear about what you need to be strong about. It seems like some mental situations have been coming up regarding either communication, the way you're receiving information, the way you're giving information, the way that we communicate with people, the thoughts we have. They have all been kind of thwarted by a weird belief. Not weird, let me rephrase that. By a belief that doesn't feel right to us, and we're contemplating. You know, we're sitting in this darker moment saying, wow, I feel this way and I'm not really sure, and it makes me think about this, or it makes me think about this, and now I don't know really what I believe. You know, there's all these truths all over the place, and it seems like almost like, you know, forceful. Maybe there's been too much forcefulness where you're forcing something that isn't ready. And having the strength to be patient, having the strength to know that it's coming for you, having the strength to know that if you do your part, you don't have to force this lion to do anything. So very interesting message with those two coming up together, but it almost feels like recognizing where maybe you've been forcing something that really isn't necessary or isn't needed. Because as you come through this full cycle as an entirely new person, you know, this King of Rods would never put himself in a situation like this. Okay? He just wouldn't. That's not something that any of the kings or queens would do, because they are in a position of authority, and, you know, that's just not the right thing. This is considered an agent of chaos. Okay, the agent of chaos is always going to come in and rustle up some things that maybe aren't true. You know, all these truths being thrown around are maybe causing you to question your own strength and question what you can do about it. But really, this is here to remind you that you just keep doing you, doing the right thing, trusting in the intuition and the guidance of this priestess, okay? The High Priestess shows up again with the Emperor this time, and she's duplicated over here underneath the Hierophant. So definitely there to tell you that divine timing and divine intervention is what's happening right now. So you may not have a whole lot of control over situations and circumstances in December. You know, you may be all geared up and ready to go, but the High Priestess is here like, hey, why don't you just sit back and let this roll right now, because there really isn't a whole lot you can do. You can take some, you know, action towards your passion, but surrendering to the divine process is what you need to be doing right now. You know, surrendering, letting yourself be fully aware, fully unwavered in faith with what's happening throughout December, because if you don't believe, there may not be a chance to succeed. Okay? Now, again, you have that High Priestess coming up here with its divine process and divine timing, and suggesting that you just, you know, have that unwavering faith. And then there's the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is always there to say, okay, you have a truth, and then you have a belief. Are they the same? Does your truth align with your belief? Does your truth align with your faith? So what is here? You know, what do you believe in? Again, you're being asked what it is you believe in. The Hierophant is the 5. You have the 5 here with this. So what is it that you're truly believing in? Because if you don't believe, you're not going to be able to succeed, Capricorn. So this is definitely a huge message for you to check where your beliefs are. Recognize that you have come full cycle through something, and seeing where it is that you can definitely utilize your masterful energy, okay, with these two guys, and surrender to the divine. You can succeed if you give in a little bit. All right, Capricorn? Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you loved it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want a free tarot deck, I still have that giveaway going on. So I'll put a little video that should post up somewhere around here in a few seconds, and check that out. Share it, please. I still need like 100 people to enter this thing before I can do the drawing. And it's slow going. I'm hoping now that Mercury has gone direct that we can all start to get back into that movement, and maybe we'll get the entries and actually get to do the drawing before 2020. That's my hopes. So thank you guys again, and I will be dropping in a little bit of a gift for everybody, kind of like a holiday celebration, and it will have to do with all of the zodiac signs and 2020. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.